Om Ajnananitmirandasya Jnananjanashadakaya Chakshuhuvanmelitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome every one of you here. I take the blessings of His Holiness Badrinath Maharaj who is behind. I was given the topic of transcending loneliness. In this world, we see dead matter and living bodies, both. All of us are living and we are conscious, we think, we feel, we will. So in such living bodies, it is seen that they thrive on relationships. We have a vertical relationship with Supreme Divinity, and we have horizontal relationships with other creatures in this world. You will see that all living beings in this world are symbiotically related. Like you will see, plants give us oxygen and we give them carbon dioxide, isn't it? Similarly, you will see there is a particular small bird which takes out the flesh piece from the mouth of the lion in order to relieve the lion of the pain he feels because of something stuck in his teeth. Of course, this bird goes inside the mouth of the lion, but the lion wouldn't eat him because it depends on the small bird to do that work for him. Of course, that piece becomes food for the bird also. They are mutually symbiotically related. So in the same manner, when you were a small baby, you were totally dependent on your parents. When you grow up, then they become dependent on you. When they become 75, 80, 90 years old, then you take care of them. First they took care of you, then you take care of them, isn't it? So we are symbiotically related like this, you will see. And we could give innumerable examples for this. So the living beings, if you observe, nobody is independent. Everybody is dependent on one another. So we are mutually dependent on one another, but we are absolutely dependent on one Supreme Lord. So therefore I told you there is a vertical relationship and a horizontal relationship. So when we forget our relationship with the vertical relation with the divinity, Supreme Divine, then we totally become dependent on only the horizontal relationships. When they are slightly disturbed, we feel very lonely. For example, in a husband-wife relationship, if they had a tussle for over some trivial reason, it appears that the life has come to an end. One cannot do job peacefully in the office. Or sometimes the horizontal relationships are terminated sometimes by death. Think about some near and dear one has died. Say your grandfather has died, grandmother has died, or mother or father has passed away. That is even more serious turmoil for us because we get shattered. So when the horizontal relationships are disturbed or terminated, we feel that the whole world has become gloomy. So this kind of situation is explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam with one of the stories of one small boy, 5-year-old boy. So this boy wanted to sit on the lap of his father. But he was born of one mother called Suniti. And there was another co-wife of his mother whose name was Suruchi. They both were queens. So Suruchi's son was Uttama, Suniti's son was Dhruva. So the word Niti in Sanskrit means moral and Ruchi means taste. So Suruchi was very beautiful looking queen, but Suniti was a moral queen. So whom do you think the king was attracted to? Suruchi or Suniti? He was attracted to Suruchi because she was beautiful looking. Most people go by the external beauty, isn't it? He was attracted to her. So he allowed her son to sit, but he wouldn't allow the other boy to sit because the Suruchi, the beautiful queen, she scolded this boy saying that you were not born from my womb, So you don't deserve to sit on the lap of your father. Get lost. So when the child, little boy, 5-year-old boy heard it, he burst into tears. His lips were quivering, was trembling in anger, and he went to his mother. His mother picked up the child and put him on her lap and said, "My dear boy, please do not cry. Your father is more attached to her, and but do not harbor any malice for her in your heart. Whoever has to get whatever punishment, that is not our job. God will do the needful. If you want a great kingdom, you go to the forest to meet the saintly people, and then you worship God, and then He will give you whatever you want." At that time, she told one very meaningful point. She told him that, as a mother, I am not able to pacify you. I am repeatedly trying to console you, but you are going on crying. But I can tell you honestly, she said, if you go to forest, you will find Supreme Lord Vishnu, whose love is equivalent to a love of 1,000,000 mothers, she said. So that is oceanic love, which comes from top down. How do we perceive that love of God, that love that God possesses for His children? How do we see that? You can see that love in the shining sun in the morning, the blossoming flowers, the ripe fruits. You can see the beauty of the waterfalls, the singing of the cuckoos, the dancing of the peacocks. And you can see His desire to nourish us by the grains and the fruits and the cereals and the spices and whatnot. So look at the nature around. When daffodils, William Wordsworth saw the daffodils, he said, "Millions of daffodils I saw, millions of daffodils," he said. So he expressed his wonderment by looking at the nature. So to the degree we are able to connect with the Supreme Divine, His smile manifesting through the nature, so then we feel closeness to Him. And that love that comes, for example, God has also put an ozone layer around the earth, correct? But who is depleting the ozone layer? Man is sending carbon monoxide emissions from the polluting vehicles to break the ozone layer. But God actually wants to protect the living beings, His own children. He has made many protective mechanisms. Imagine if there is a fire here. If I would touch it immediately, I would get sensation, because that's how I will be protected. Imagine if I cannot sense that fire, I put my hand. While talking, half my hand will be burned off. Only this much will remain. Because fire doesn't burn at all. Therefore, He has kept that. Similarly, go to the edge of a rocky mountain when you go on trekking. When you go to the edge, you will feel some fear sensation. Why that fear is kept? As a protection. Otherwise, we will walk ahead of the rock as we are walking in the floor, and we will fall off and die. So His protection is seen everywhere. Like you could take a blade and cut your hand a little bit and leave it for 2 days. On its own, it'll get repaired. How is it? Because it's God's love for us that He has given us immunity system. By that system, it automatically heals. So I can give you many, many examples. What amazing creation that He has done. Like you see, the hair on your head grows so long, isn't it? But the hair here only grows this much. Why? Because imagine if this hair grows like this, it will block every time you have to lift it. Like this, everybody. There is one dog which grows a lot of hair. What is that dog? What do you call that? It has a lot of hair. You seen that? Yeah. Shepherds. Imagine if all of us had, while going on the road, we have to keep on lifting and watching, isn't it? So therefore, very kindly, scientists may say that there is some enzyme here because of which it doesn't grow further. But why only here? Why not here? Why this? Because this hair has given you longer hair so that you can decorate yourself. Whereas this hair has given you small enough so that you can see others properly. The same manner is design of the body is so amazing. Because imagine if eyes were here, nose was here, and mouth was behind. Every time you have to show the food, smell like this and give the food here. How difficult it would be. But He's put all three in one. You see the food, smell also and put the food. Is it not amazing design? So think about the way He has designed the body. Think about the world He has created. And His love is manifesting through your mother, your father, your friends. God's love is coming to us in varieties of ways. Through the mentors, people who shelter you, guide you. In this world, everybody is looking for two things. first we are looking for shelter, and in that shelter we are looking for pleasure. For example, it's a hot sunny day. If I am walking in the middle of the road, it's like one may get a sunstroke. On that day, what are you looking for? You're looking for a shady tree where you can go and get shelter. Yeah. If it is a very hot day, then you may want to go into your room where it is an air-conditioned room. Isn't it? Similarly, when you're very hungry, you get your shelter in the food. When you're very thirsty, you get the shelter in the water. In this world, everybody is looking for shelter. Physically speaking, eating, drinking, in these things we find shelter. In sex life, one finds some shelter for a short while. But emotionally speaking, people want to be loved, to express love and to be loved. But the problem is, the world around us appears quite exploitative, and people connect with others for getting something out of them. That's what frightens everybody. Nowadays, even there is a fear between doctors and patients nowadays. One doctor told me in India, Ayurvedic doctor told me that my goal is to cure you in a couple of weeks. And then I asked him, how long I have to come? He said, no, after that you shouldn't come to me. You should be healthy forever, he said. But nowadays some doctors tell you that you please keep coming till your last breath. Not only you come, bring your family members also. Be my customer for whole life. And therefore people fear the doctors. Is it not true? Similarly, people in the same manner, teacher-student relationship. Many teachers in India also, sometimes we find that they don't teach in the college. They start separate tuitions outside. They say, you pay me, then you'll get good marks. So, in teacher-student relationship, people don't find shelter. In doctor-patient relationship, people don't find shelter. Similarly, in husband-wife relationship, if both are not patient, tolerant, kind, considerate, forgiving, then you will see that it won't be a very pleasant relationship without these good qualities. You will find it will be an irritable relationship. Then one may not find shelter at home also. So, therefore, you find that everyone is looking for emotional shelter through, they want to be loved by somebody and they want to express that love, and they want genuineness in that, and they don't want fake love. Fake love never satisfies. It is superficial. So, in this world, by forgetting that vertical connection, we are trying to get everything from the horizontal connection. It's like, popcorn will nourish you and satisfy you, but not thermocol, which looks like popcorn. Thermocol has round thermocol, you've seen that? If you take a bunch of them and put in your mouth, it's not going to satisfy you. In this world, the material shelters are like that. They will not satisfy us, although they look very attractive, whether physically or emotionally. So, then how do we experience a long-lasting shelter where we feel safe, secure, protected, loved, cared, and we will not be hurt? Just like you can see a small baby in the lap of the mother feels very safe and secure. So, when can we feel so safe and secure and not have the fear of being lonely? So, I already told you that when the near and dear ones one by one they pass away, that causes pain to us, but that pain should be transformed into spiritual progress. For example, if somebody loses one of the near and dear ones, one should ask the question, why this very dear person has passed away and I was getting so much shelter from them? So the scriptures say that when you come to this world, we receive some kind of temporary material shelter which lasts only for a short while, and it is taken away. But if you want a permanent shelter, human body is the body in which you can research and find out that permanent shelter, having attained which nothing of this world will have to give you shelter. So I will tell you what it is. Everybody is searching for two things. We call inadequacy and insecurity. Because we are inadequate, we want to accumulate things more and more, thinking that when I accumulate, I have a big bungalow, I have a car, I have a big post, I have so much of dollar in my bank balance, and I have the best of the doctors, I have the best of the social circle, and I have so many people giving me likes in the Facebook, all that, I am not alone, I am quite safe, I am all right, I am okay. So many people have told that I am okay. So in this way, we actually want to accumulate externally gross goods. At the same time, we also in order to overcome insecurity, we want someone to say emotionally that you are okay, don't worry, everything is all right with you. And we seek love, therefore we increase our social circle and try to get validation from a society, which is very cruel sometimes. Many people may ridicule you also sometimes. It's very painful for us. So this insecurity, inadequacy can be completely surpassed when one gets that oceanic love from the vertical relationship. Like I'll tell you, for example, in once in Vrindavan, all the residents of Vrindavan in the north of India, there's a holy abode of Vrindavan. There, all of them were lovers of one supreme divinity, Krishna. Why they were in so much love with him, I'll tell you the reason. What is his nature? I'll briefly explain. Once upon a time, a few peacocks came to Krishna. He is the apple of eye of everybody in Vrindavan. They came to him and said, we want to hear you play your flute because we are completely mesmerized by your flute. Please kindly play for us. Then Krishna asked them, tell me which tune you want. And the peacocks chose a tune. And Krishna said, wow, that's the best of the tunes that I know. So I'll play now. So then he played on his flute very beautifully. And all the peacocks closed their eyes and listened to it very well. So you can see here how much he values even insignificant birds. You see, he is telling the peacocks that, what tune you would like to hear. He's asking, which means he respects and values their request. And then when they requested him, he played the tune and he appreciated them also. So here is an example of how the Lord is respectful to every small creature in his creation and values their opinions. How he is appreciative of everybody. You can see that also. Then he played on the flute and the peacocks became so touched. They wanted to offer him some gift and they didn't find anything big with them. They thought we are peacocks living in jungle. We only have a peacock feather. So they plucked out one feather and kept it in Krishna's lotus feet. My Lord, we have nothing else to give. This is the only thing we have. But Krishna picked it up and put it on his head to tell them, for you it may be insignificant, but for me it is infinitely more valuable. Therefore I am wearing it on my head. So peacocks cried tears seeing Krishna's behavior. So here is the Lord, how insignificant offering you give him, he respects and puts it on the head. So here is an example of how the Lord treated his devotees, the peacocks in the forest of Vrindavan. Another example I'll tell you, how the devotees treat the Lord in return, I'll tell you. One day Mother Yashoda told Krishna that tomorrow onwards you are going to go for herding the cows and calves in the forest. My child, for you I have made golden slippers. See, these are the slippers. Do you like it? When Krishna saw that, he said, okay, it's all right for me, but what about the cows? There are thousands of cows going to go with me. Have you made 2 pairs of slippers for each of them? Because they have 4 legs, no? They need two pairs. Have you made for them? She laughed and said, how can I make so many pairs of slippers? I haven't made, she said. Then Krishna said, then I also can't wear it. Because when they won't wear it, and when they have to suffer the pebbles and thorns, why should I enjoy the slippers, he said. So when the cows were hearing it from the window, they immediately had an emergency meeting in the night amongst themselves. So they all went out in Vrindavan and broke all the stones and roads and everything and made it all soft like Johnson & Johnson baby powder. Even today, if you go to Vrindavan, the sand is as soft as a powder. You will see that. And that is the work of the cows. So cows had done that completely all over Vrindavan and they came back. Next day morning when Krishna went for herding the cows and calves, neither did the cows feel any pain and nor the Lord felt any pain. But here is the point, how much the cows sacrificed their night sleep, going and breaking it with their own feet. For whose pleasure? For Krishna's pleasure, who dearly loved them. So this is the way the devotees deal with the Lord, and that is the way Lord dealt with the peacocks. So 2 ways I have told you. So in both the ways I have told you, this is the kind of relationship that completely shelters us in our heart. And when we experience that type of shelter, nothing of this world is needed for us actually. In this world, whatever you need, For example, you need food, clothing, shelter, you can see it's abundantly available in this world. So, long before when I joined the ISKCON society way back in 1994, some of my friends told me, hey, what will happen to you? You are becoming a monk. Who will give you food? Who will give you shelter? Tomorrow anything may happen in this world. Better have a bank balance, take care of yourself. I told them a simple thing. You see, when a student comes to college to study, you will find that the parents arrange for everything. He has his money, he has his fee to pay, and he has his dress, he has his food. God has sent us to this world. If we do his work, will he not take care of us? He will arrange everything. Now that was 1994, almost 28 years ago. Not a single day passed in my life, without taking nice prasad 3 times a day. In fact, I have a problem with many people calling for prasad. Come here, come there. I'm not able to catch up with many people who are calling. So you will see that you have nothing to worry in this world. God has arranged for your food. He has arranged for your relatives. He has arranged for your progressing in the human life. In understanding the sublime love, it is a 5th degree. It is. The first is Annamaya. Second is Pranamaya. Third is Manomaya. Fourth is Vijnanamaya. Fifth is Anandamaya. So when we come to this Bhakti Yoga, which is the Anandamaya stage, and the 4th stage is Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga is the awakening of knowledge of soul, and the 5th stage is the awakening of relationship with God. You all were so beautifully singing in the beginning of the talk today. That Kirtan actually connects you to that supreme divinity, Krishna. In that connection, you will experience the safety, security, shelter, love, and feeling of being wanted and cared for. And you continue singing like this and continue participating in this program. So now I will take some discussions from all of you. Thank you.
We're taking questions now. Would anybody like to ask a question?
Hello, thank you. It was very useful and we all enjoyed it, I'm sure. I have a question, I started my spiritual journey 5-6 years ago. I went to India, Bali, and since then I kind of sometimes feel I can't find the balance between spiritual and material world. So basically, I don't want to become a monk, and I kind of welcome material things, but also, so basically, what is your opinion about it? Material and spiritual. Thank you.
Actually, Krishna tells Arjuna that you have to balance both. You have your, say for example, some of your students in the college, you have to do your studies also. Along with that, you have to practice your spirituality. So one is to keep yourself in this world, another one is to go back to God. So we do both the things actually. And it is possible to balance. Like if I ask you, when you are at home, when you are eating the dinner, do you exchange love with the parents while eating dinner, or you eat your dinner? We do both, isn't it? Similarly, if somebody asks, which is important, eating is important or sleeping is important? Both are important. We have to eat and we have to sleep also. In the same manner, anybody in this world will have 3 duties, family, profession, and devotion. So family relationships are important. Then you have to have professional success also, so that you can, you are a breadwinner. You have to earn your livelihood. Then the devotion to God is most vital, because that's what actually takes us to the platform where we will be truly happy, ultimately. So these 3 is like a tripod. Any one of them you break, other 2 will fall. They will suffer. So we have to find out how to balance all the 3. So if you focus only on family and profession, some people see that the spiritual life takes a back seat. And then they become irritable in family, irritable in profession, and they lose the cool head. The cheerfulness is lost. And they wonder, what has gone wrong with me? What has gone wrong with them is they have forgotten devotion to God. On the other hand, if you are doing devotion to God and taking care of the family well, then the people in the company will fire us from the job, isn't it? Or if you go to company and come to temple, go to company and come to temple, family people will catch you, what are you doing? You are not giving us enough time. So I agree with you. It's a bit of a challenge for us. We can actually make a time planning chart. Who needs time at home? For example, some mothers have children, they need attention. In a family, your man has parents also to take care sometimes. So I would say that we should jot down our duties at home, duties in office, duties towards devotion to God. So in each of it, we should try to make a plan. And it is also not all the time same. For example, sometimes one of it may require less time. Another one may need more time. So time to time, we have to revisit that time planning, I would say. Is that all right? Thank you. Maharaj, would you like to add to that? Okay.
Hello. Thank you.
Thank you.
You touched on it in your talk a little bit, but for me, the hardest time that I feel the furthest away from my spirituality and from God is when I am experiencing emotional turmoil through stimuli, whatever the negative thing that's happening. And so when you're in the moment of that emotional turmoil and you feel so lonely, how can you remind yourself to turn to God, to turn to your divinity?
Yeah, very good question. Actually, in such a situation, because our emotional turmoil overpowers us, we have lost the sense of discrimination at that time. At that time, we are unable to ascertain that spirituality is good for me. Rather than going to God and taking a shelter, our mind tells us that I have to sort this out somehow. We try to take the whole thing on our own hands. We try to thrash it out and we are unable to. And we sort of get caught in that. It's like a whirlpool. We are not able to come out. So I would say in such a situation, we need good friends, especially peers, and we can cry to a peer that I'm feeling like this, what do you say? And that equal peer friend should be actually firmly rooted in God. Yeah. For example, say I am drowning in water, for example. I need someone to catch me and help me. But if he gives his hand, he may also be pulled into it, likely. So instead, if there is a tree, you can tie a rope to the tree and he can throw that rope to you and then he can pull you out. So, and what is a tree? The tree is especially those great souls. Like we many times take inspiration from Maharaja. He has been in this society for decades. He has seen it for 50 years. So when there are great souls like a tree, you can take their shelter. I mean, any of your friends who is firmly sheltered in them and he is stable in his spiritual life, if you go to him, then he will give you faith. He will tell you that this is only a passing phase, don't worry. It's emotional turmoil. For example, say my parents passed away a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, pre-COVID time, 2018 or so they passed away. So my mother first passed away and 3 months later father passed. They were 80 plus, 84 or something. So now, my sisters were shattered, For them, one after another, the first mother went and then father went in 3 months. So, but at that time, for about 2 weeks or so, they were in a state of great turmoil. But over a period of time, I spoke to them. In the scriptures, it is said that just like a soap bubble, you see, when you make a soap bubble, it can be as big as a football sometimes. Looks very colorful also. It moves like this and then pluck, it just goes off. Similarly, all these bodies are very beautiful in this world, but they are not long-lasting bodies. You show me one man who was born in this world who is still living. Eventually, everybody's body has to pass, but the soul never dies. The Atma leaves one body and goes to another. So my mother, father, they must have gone to a good family because they lived a very virtuous life. And we are assured by God in the scriptures that they will go to a better destination when they lead a very proper life like that. And that time has come. So I asked my sisters, how long you want them to live? Now they're 84. She said 90. Okay, if they live till 90, you will say 100. If they, correct, no? We actually want them to live forever, which is only possible in which body? Spiritual body, not in the material body. So we can actually pacify ourselves by knowing the truth. So 2 things I told you. One is taking help of a peer who is spiritually stable, or one who is strongly sheltered in great souls. He is in connection with great souls. He regularly comes to temple. He is very strongly rooted, so he can help us. Another thing I told you is philosophy. Anvikshikya shoka moha. The Srimad Bhagavatam says that by philosophical outlook, we will be able to surpass the worry. It's possible. You clearly understand what is this body. Like think for a moment, all of you, when there is hair on your head, we put shampoo, we put nice scented oils, and people keep silky hair. They go to beauty parlor and what all decorations they do, you all know that. But one of that hair comes in the food. Will people like it? They'll throw away the whole plate, isn't it? Similarly, when there is nails, people put nice polish and they keep showing how beautiful my nails are looking. But then, when the nail is cut, it goes straight into dustbin. So what is there in that nail when it is connected to the body? It is so valuable. And why that nail is considered so abominable when it is cut off from the body? If you think carefully, that is a spiritual spark in the body, which makes the body so handsome, so attractive. Because this hair has value when it is in a living body, where the Atma, the soul, is present. When the hair is cut off, it's abominable after that. It has no value at all. So, you all have been to an aquarium? You all know aquarium? When there are colorful fishes, yellow color, golden color, green color, orange color, blue color, different colorful fishes move like this. You can keep watching it even for an hour. But if those fishes are dead and lying at the bottom, will you see it? Nobody will want to see it. Even for a minute, you can't waste your time there. So what makes those moving fishes so attractive? Because in their body, there's a spiritual spark. So where there is spiritual spark, there is attractiveness. Where there is no spiritual spark, it is dead. There is no attractiveness in that. And why is spiritual spark attractive? Because it's a part and parcel of the supremely attractive Lord. He is beautiful and the spirit spark is also beautiful. So you can understand, like, when my parents passed away, that's what I pacified my sisters. I told them, see, the spark was present in these two bodies. Now they have left this body and they've gone to another destination. Now wherever they have to go, they have finished their term in this body. So we have to be pacified and go on with our life. And whatever they expected of us to do, we should do that and please them. Either I told them, and they became pacified after that. So at the spur of the moment, when the turmoil comes, it's difficult to tolerate. What you said is very true. Arjuna, for example, he heard the whole Gita. After that, one of his sons died in the battle called Abhimanyu. And he burst into tears. So one man asked Srila Prabhupada that, Swamiji, is it not ridiculous that after hearing the whole Bhagavad Gita, knowledge of soul and God, still this fellow is crying? And Srila Prabhupada asked him, why are you asking a ridiculous question? He asked him. And he said, really? Why is this question ridiculous? Prabhupada said, although Arjuna burst into tears for a moment, he did not forego his duty. Immediately he got him. Krishna told him, Arjuna, this is no time for weeping. Get up and fight the battle. The enemy people are taking over your ranks of soldiers. Immediately Arjuna got up and took his bow and arrow and went to the battle. Similarly, in our lives also, emotionally we may be disturbed for a short while. But then we need good friends and good superiors who can guide us. And we can also take to the chanting Hare Krishna. If you take the beads and you just start sitting and chanting, gradually it'll be like a bomb, applying a bomb over a wound. You'll feel great healing. All right? Thank you.
I think
Yes, Maharaj.
because some people are waiting for dinner,
Yes, Maharaj.
we could start serving, getting everyone to sit
Yes,
down,
Maharaj. Sure, Maharaj.
and then their minds are very peaceful.
Yeah.
They know dinner's coming.
Yes,
They don't
correct.
have
It's
questions.
not here. It's not here, so continue.
So
No, it's not here.
what we need to do is put them in gear, and then it will be here. So I guess I'll go to that. Keep going, Marco.
Yes.
The wheels are turning towards dinner. Don't worry. As they said in India, it's just now coming.
Yeah, correct.
Give it to him.
Hey, so my question is if you can speak to a little about detachment. So I know a lot of the Gita covers the concept of detaching. So let's say I sit down, I have goals in every area of my life, and I want every area of my life to work out a very specific way. So I say, okay, I need to detach from that because I don't know how it's going to work out. But I notice my ego doesn't like that because the fear of the unknown. I want to know that it's going to work out the way I want it to work out. So how do we apply detaching while still putting in effort towards a goal that we want a very specific outcome for?
Correct. Actually, the principle of detachment has to be understood very carefully in Bhagavad Gita. When Lord Krishna says, Karmanyeva adhikaraste, ma phaleshu kadachana, he says that do your duty but don't be attached to the result. Now ask any student, you are writing an examination, will you not be bothered about the result? Or a lady cooking in the kitchen, will she close her eyes and take a huge amount of salt and say, I am detached from how the pudding is going to come and just throw so much of salt? Can she do that? It would be ridiculous, isn't it? So therefore, why Krishna says this, I will tell you the reason for this. I will tell a little story. It will make sense. See, there was one boy in India. He was very much controlled by his parents, and he came from a good family, but in the heart of hearts, he was not very happy. He was thinking that once I complete my studies, I'll go to US and I'll do a big job, I'll make a lot of money, and I can enjoy the life the way I want. I have a lot of freedom in US, he thought. So he applied for jobs, he got a job in US. So it was giving him $5,000 per month in those days. So he took his flight and, talked to his parents, and he was coming to America. As soon as he reached America, he got a mail from his father saying that, my son, I came to know that you are getting $5,000 per month. So keep $1,000 with you. $4,000 you send me every month. So now he was very upset. But he couldn't say no to father because he was respectful to father. So he was every month sending $4,000. And he was thinking, with $1,000, what can you do? You just have barely enough money for your food and accommodation. And he just couldn't go anywhere. He was going from, his room to company to room. Otherwise, he was thinking, I will smoke, I will drink, I will roam with people, and all that he was thinking. He couldn't do anything. So 5 years passed. After that, his father called him to India back. He told him, now be in India. He said, I am going to get you married now very soon. And then he showed him the girl and everything. On the day of the marriage, the father showed a checkbook to him. He said it was how much? $4,000 multiplied by 12 into 5. The total amount he gave him back. So he was surprised. Father, you are giving me all the money back. Why? I was very upset with you when you were asking for the money. The father said, you see, now you have your wife, who will protect you. And now you are getting married to her. You both are partner for each other. So now you will not misuse the money. Therefore, she is like a police for you. She will take care of you. So I am giving you back the money, he said. So when the father was taking the money from the boy, Krishna is exactly like that saying, don't hurt yourself with your profits. He's saying, many of us have a habit, if there is some extra money, we are likely to misuse it. And there's a possibility. So he says that you do your work, at the same time, what is the meaning of giving the fruits to God? For example, before you do the work, we are very much hankering for the result. Like you all have experienced, before the examination paper comes, the results are interfering with your performance for the exam. There is one famous writer, Goethe, he said, do not allow what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. Yeah. Again I'll tell you, do not allow what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. For example, right now you are studying for an examination. You can do preparation. This is what you can do. And what you cannot do is, the results of the exams are not in your hands. Don't keep on taking anxiety for it. Because marks, you are not going to correct your paper. Who is going to correct? Some teacher is going to correct. So what you cannot do, don't allow it to interfere with what you can do. For example, I am playing table tennis, for example. If I am all the time seeing the scoreboard, I may miss the ball. Correct now? So don't see the scoreboard. Right now you play now. After the game stops, then you see the scoreboard. Isn't it? So before doing work, don't take too much anxiety. That's only possible if you are sheltered in God. Because a person who is sheltered in God knows that not even a blade of grass can move without His sanction. So ultimately it is in His hands. Therefore I will do my part. See, in this world we all are co-workers. Like I sow the seed, God gives the rains. I give the interview, the panel has to choose me for the job. I write the examination paper, and the invigilators have to give me marks. Similarly, you will see Arjuna would fight the battle, but Krishna would guide him. It's a two, always there are two people involved. You will see that. That being the case, I do my work very well without focusing my attention on the result at that time. And after the work comes out very well, then one should not become boastful. So two words are used in Sanskrit. We should not be falakankshi and we should not be dambi. So falakankshi means hankering for results even before doing the work. And after the work is done, one should not have the damba or the pride of having done it. That is the reason for that. Like even Einstein, did he create his own brain or God gave him brain? Did Einstein open his head and put some brain? Did he create it? He didn't create. God gave him brain. Did Einstein create his eyes, ears, nose, tongue? The body was given to him by God. Even all the 120 material elements which you see in Mandel's periodic table, that was also created by God. So, because ultimately everything is created by Him, we give the credit also to Him. We tell Him, oh God, you. Krishna says that in Gita, Buddhir Buddhi Matamasmi. I am the intelligence of the intelligent. Balam Balavatam Cham. I am the strength of the strong. So, we have only little control. Like these bulbs, you see, if I switch off, they will be off. If I switch on, it will be on. It appears that I am in control. But if the electricity board stops the electricity, my switching on and off will not be of any consequence. Similarly, we all feel some amount of control in our hand. It is true, we have some control, but ultimate control is with Him. So with this understanding, we can be detached in the true sense. And the purpose of detachment is actually, if you work on God's account, for example, then you are completely a clean slate. You have nothing to bind you in this world. Like if a soldier is working for the army, he can actually kill 100 people in the army and he will be awarded with a, some kind of a medal or something like that. On the other hand, he comes after the retirement, he takes his gun and shoots his neighbor. Then what will happen? He'll be put behind the bars because here he's working on his own account. There he's working on company's account. Same with the cashier. A cashier may take thousands of dollars and put in the bank. He may give out thousands of dollars. Neither is he going to be elated nor is he going to cry because he's working on whose account? Bank's account. On the other hand, if he puts $1,000 in his pocket, then he'll be fired from the job because that he is working on his own account. So two things I told you. Now I told you about working on God's account. And prior to that I told you, we should not hanker for the results before doing the work. That causes a burning sensation. And after doing the work, we should submit it to God and say, oh God, it's all done by you because you gave me the intelligence. You gave me the resources. I am grateful to you. So when we do these two things, then we are not victimized by good and bad in this world. We are aloof. Is it all right? Thank you.
Excellent.